one session, 2 weeks, 2 massive movements. This story I want to share with you today just comes with a session that I just had with a client, her second session with me, because we had our first one 2 weeks ago. And I want to share with you her massive movement that she shared with me today. And boy, was she like a different person even talking to her. She was bright and shiny and smiling, and I just love it so much that I had to share this with you all. Welcome, my name is Rose, and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart so you live a life that you love. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me or join the Rosey Life course and community, go to RoseyLife.com and you'll read all the information there. All right, so let's get started. This story it's so fun. I'm just so happy to share the story with all of you. And I want to get into something that she was stuck in too. And she was stuck in either waiting or she felt like she was chasing. And this has been several clients this week have actually shared this with me, and we identified it and moved them away from it. So with this is a Rosey Life client, and 2 weeks ago, because I thought it was longer, but she reminded me it was just 2 weeks ago. And she said 2 weeks ago, 2 massive movements. So we had a session, all right, and she came to me because she was just like not happy. She wasn't happy with herself. She didn't feel like she was good enough. The money wasn't coming in. There was no money coming in for months. All right, she was worried because she has a business as a therapist, and she didn't have any clients. The money wasn't flowing in, and she had ideas of what she wanted. She was worried about money, and she had no contact from an SP for months. And I'm not sure how many months, but it was a long time. And so she was like not feeling good. She was sad, down. She was really looking she's just really sad in the session, and just wanting something to be different. She was down, like I said, and sad, felt lonely because she had moved to another location and she didn't have any friends, and she was like, nothing's happening, Rose. She felt broke. She's visualizing like what she wanted to have, which was money and flowing in, and her having nice things, and her being with her person. She said, and it felt far away no matter how much affirming she did. And she said, I was affirming, Rose, all day long. And she said, and I was feeling tired and lost. And this is when she booked a session with me. She said she was also taught or learned from some coach or some channel that it's better if you're in that position where nothing's working for you to go general and think this or something better. And so when she booked a session with me, she had this very limited view, and she just felt like she was settling. At this point, Rose, I'll take anything kind of feeling. And then after in our session, I talked about, first of all, we don't say or something better. We get whatever the hell we want. Okay, there's no settling here. God doesn't settle, and you don't settle. All right, so we don't have to bark all day long orders and affirm things all day long to force ourselves to believe something, because that's where you'll feel tired, I told her. And I know, because you guys, I did that, and I felt horrible, felt exhausted and drained and no movement, and I just would make me like not want to be in the 3D even more, like get me out of here, right? So I get it. So I told her, said, you don't have to do that. And instead, we focused on her awareness of being God. So I said, nothing is against you when you remember that you're God and that you are the cause, that you are the only person in charge of what's going on in your world, right? And I want to pause here for a second, because for a long time, I heard, and this is before I even learned about Neville, for a long time I heard Abraham Hicks say source. And she would say, source loves you, source, and using source as that, you want to align with source and by getting into the vortex, or just the word source. And nothing was wrong with the word, but it wasn't resonating with me what she was actually saying. So she would say source, source, source. So I just like, okay. I didn't want to use the word God, so I just started using the word source. And I'm like, I don't care what you call it, right? Just give me my stuff. And so I would say source, 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 source. And to me, I just kind of had a picture of energy or just something, some presence or something. I wasn't understanding further what the actual word was telling me. Why? One of the things, and maybe many of you relate to this, and some of you may or may not, but many of you heard the word source as in negative, like let's get to the source of the problem. What's the source of this issue happening with the plumbing, electricity, or a program, or with couples in counseling? When I do that, it's like I would look for the source of the problem. This is what we're taught to do, is to look for the source of the problem. So what? So then we can create a solution. So we're trained and taught to look for the source of a problem, not for the solution. We think after we identify a source of the problem, then we can find a solution. So this is what a lot of people do now. But here, what shifted for me, right, is the source when I really slowed down and I took in the word source. And I'm like, wait, no, I'm the source. And Joseph Murphy is the first one that really clicked for me when I heard this. It's like, I'm the source of my supply. And even him saying it for a while didn't resonate with me, but one day I just heard it differently. And I heard him say, God is my source of supply. And then I thought, oh my God, okay, source. I'm the source of everything. I'm the source of money. I'm the source of abundance. I'm the source of everything. And that's when it really shifted for me, when I heard Joseph Murphy say it. And then I thought of Abraham Hicks, and when she calls it source, and really it doesn't matter what you call it God, love, energy, infinite intelligence. All these teachers have named it different things, and that's okay. Whatever one resonates with you, it doesn't matter. It just pick one. Okay, but the point of this I'm trying to make is that you are the source. You are causing things to happen in your life through your assumptions. So there's no outside source. There's no outside explanation. There's no outside reason. There's no outside excuse. There's no outside limit. There's no outside anything out, because you're the source, right? If you look at the power source of a electronic device, it's always going to go back to, you're going to look at the wall. Is this thing working? Is the source working? And you are that source. You are that power supply. So that's a little bit of what we had talked about a couple weeks ago. We're talking about how she is that source, that I am. And I reminded her, I said, since you're the source, I'm like, nothing's coming against you. Nothing can be against you. You have no opposition. You have no competition. There's nothing happening outside of you. There's no one saying no to you. There's no one rejecting you. There's no one saying you can't have that, right? It's just you. And it really sunk into her. She said, that's why I put this in quotes. She says, this is what really got me, is when you said nothing is against me. And she said, and then I started declaring, instead of something this or something better, I started saying, I know he's mine, meaning her SP. She said, no, I know he's mine. And she says, I feel it in my heart. I know he's mine. And she said, whenever she felt anxious or doubtful, she just started affirming, I am. And that would calm her down. She said that calms her down instantly. She just feels that presence, not because of the words are magical, but because now she understands what I am is. It's everything. It's a whole and complete. You can say I am, period. And that's a complete sentence, is what I shared with her. So what happened is she said, okay, I calm myself with I am. I started telling myself, no, I know he's mine. I feel it in my heart. These were just things that she told herself. And she said, nothing is against me. And she did that. And today makes 2 weeks since that session. She shared with me in our second session today. And she says, I got a new client. out of nowhere. I got a new client. She says money's finally starting to come in. And she said, and she felt inspired on her SP's birthday to send him an email wishing him a happy birthday. And so she did. She emailed him happy birthday, and his response was he was so happy to hear from her. And he was just so happy, and they've been in contact ever since, because she was under the impression that he didn't want anything to do with her, that he cut it off and it was over. And on the contrary, do you see, when she decided to allow herself to have what she wanted, none of this and something better, she says, no, he's mine, and I just know it. I feel it in my heart, she kept telling herself, and that nothing is against me. And she would calm herself when she would get anxious or doubt this with I am. And that's all she did. And now she has movement with her SP, and the money's coming in. She has a new client. So we did a little bit more talking about other things that she wants to have in her experience. And so I can't wait to hear more success stories from her. And as they come in and she sends them to me, I'll share it with you guys. But here's what I wanted to cover over with you guys today too, about what was happening with her. And maybe you guys will identify yourself. I'm going to hold this up so you guys can take a picture. All right. Okay. So I love this. This little image came into my mind the other day, and especially as I was talking to different clients. And one of the things that I noticed, and this used to be me to you guys, okay, is that I hear about, I am, be in your wish fulfilled, all of that. Okay, I heard that, and I would think that I was doing it, but really I wasn't. What I see that I was doing, what others were doing, are some of you are still doing, and you can get out of this really quick, is I was either waiting. So I see that people are either waiting for their desire, thinking that they're being it, okay, or they are trying to chase it. Now here's what happens. First you start declaring who you are, and you have what you want, okay? And then either 5 minutes go by, or 5 days goes by, or a couple weeks go by, or months go by, whatever. The time doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you say it's 5 years. I don't care, because you're going to fit into here. Watch. So you're declaring who you are. And then what happens? Now you start seeing that nothing's changing. You're like, nope, not yet. Nope, no movement. And then you're just like, okay, well, right there, you can say, yes, there is movement. Yes, I do have what I want. Yes, I am that person. Yes, I am her. I am him. Do you see? But no. What happens? Oh, no movement. Then, because you feel uncomfortable with no movement, or you feel uncomfortable with noticing that nothing's changed, because you're saying nothing changed, and that's why nothing's changing, right? You start to keep yourself busy. You try to keep yourself distracted doing stuff, thinking that that's going to help you not pay attention to. I know, because I remember years ago someone telling me this, like a coach told me this years ago. She was like, oh, just like start taking yourself out to dinner and go to the gym, do yoga, focus on you, focus on loving yourself, and just go out with your friends and just keep busy. I'm like, the hell does that doesn't tell me anything. That just kept me more waiting. Do you see? So it's like keep busy, or you start avoiding. And I wrote down here, avoiding your feelings, avoiding your thoughts, avoiding places, avoiding talks, meaning conversations with people where you're like, what do I say? I don't know what to say. Then you get focused on how do I say it? How do I hang out with people? What do I say? But if I don't have it, but I'm supposed to say and I am it, I'm confused. So you see, then you start avoiding. You're trying to avoid feelings, avoid thoughts by being positive, avoid having certain thoughts by flipping them, or you're trying to just like entertain yourself somehow so you don't have thoughts, right? Or resisting. You're resisting where you are right now. You're just like, I don't like it. I can't stand this reality that I'm in. I don't want to be here. You try to run from it. Maybe you move. Maybe you do different things, or you stop hanging out with certain people, right? In other words, you're just fearful. This is all waiting. All of that is waiting. So you're not here. You're not the person that you're desired to be. You're actually in this waiting zone. You can't be here and here at the same time. So what happens? This gets kind of ignored and forgotten, even though you think you're in it. You either go from waiting, you're just like, I had enough. I can't stand this. I had enough. I got to do something. I have to take my own inspired action, right? Well, remember, if you think that inspired action is coming out of waiting, let's move over here. So you go from waiting to like entertaining yourself, avoiding and trying to feel bad, and you're just so sick and tired of feeling bad, you forget about who you are, and you go over here to chasing, right? And this is what a lot of people do, because the chasing state is it's not happening. Nothing's happening. I've been waiting for this long. It's not happening. It's not. Tell me why. Why? I've been affirming. I've been doing this. It's not happening, because you're still thinking that you're here, but you're really here. And then you get angry or anxious or sad and desperate, and you're like, I don't want it anymore. I don't care, right? And then you say, I can't stand waiting anymore. I can't stand it. I'm not going to do this anymore, right? And you do or take some kind of action, and then you label it, oh, this is inspired action, when really it's coming from this state of waiting. This is your assumption, your waiting state, your identity of waiting, right? And then you take action, or you take action from there, and you know it doesn't feel good because you're questioning. You're like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Is this inspired action? How do I know if it's inspired action? What if it's not inspired action? This is how you know, okay? So like my client, she emailed her person, but it wasn't coming from a place of waiting. And she wasn't chasing. She said, no, he's mine. I know it. I feel it. We're together. He's mine, and nothing is against me, and I am. Do you see? And then she wrote that email. That was her inspired action, but it wasn't coming from a place of he's not here, I'm not with him. She's like, no, we're together. And the chasing, more chasing, so you do or you try to take action because you're trying to make it happen. You're trying to force the hand of God. You're trying to force it. You think that you can do this better and faster than God, because clearly he's not showing up with results. Okay, so, or you try to force it. You're trying to control it. These are how it feels. It feels impatient and fear. Fear and fear. These are the two things that I wanted to highlight. This is fear-based, fear-based. What's the fear? That you're not going to get what you want. Right? That you're doing something wrong, that something's missing, that something's lacking, that it's not happening fast enough. You're staring at the clock and it feels awful. So then you try to make it happen. Then you go try to make it happen. Then you feel even worse, because not only did that backfire you, or maybe you got some shoddy results, and then nothing happened. And I talked to another client like that. It's like her person reached out to her, but then he ghosted her again. And she's like, because she was chasing it. Do you see? And she's like, what am I doing wrong? So she goes from waiting to chasing, waiting to chasing, waiting to chasing. This is what I see a lot of people doing. They go from waiting to chasing, because it used to be me too. I know. And this feels bad. And you think, oh, well, I'm not chasing. I'm just going to sit here and wait though. But this is no better than this. Do you see? So it's okay, you guys, if this is where if you're stuck in that, all right? Because you're never stuck. You're not stuck. If you feel like you're stuck in these, you're not stuck. It's just a feeling. That's what I want to make really clear, okay? So instead, what is be, right? It's like, be the person that you wish your wishes fulfilled, right? And your being, even it's just be. Actually, it's not even being. It's be. Even be still and know I am God. It's not even being. Why? Because this is what I wanted to share with you as well. I looked up the tenses of a word, right? With be, being, and been. So when you add an ing after a word, it's present. Chasing, right? Waiting. It's present. Even loving, anxietying, depressing. This is a way that I used to teach my former therapy clients. I would ask them to add the ing to the end of anxiety. You don't have anxiety, you're anxietying, you're depressing, you're worrying. Do you see? It's present, meaning you're not going to stay there. Okay. And when they did that little shift, they're just like, oh, I can leave that. That's right. You can leave the chasing. You can leave the waiting, because be is actually infinitive. And what that means is infinitive is it's the root of the word of be, been, being. It's the root of the word be without binding it to a tense. So to be or not to be, like Shakespeare, right? It's you're using it because it's infinitive, meaning it's untouchable, no tense. Isn't this cool? This is from a dictionary, you guys, and it's literally talking about manifesting and God in that presence of infinite power. Infinitive. It's infinite. To say to be something is infinite. It's untouched by a tense. It's not active, it's not present, and it's not past, and it's not future. It just is. Wow. Is. To be something, to be the person you want to be is. It just is. It's not even doing it, it is. It's I am. I have, you choose it as God. Okay, that's the difference. You're doing this as God. It's eternal. It's always, it's infinite. So when you are, this is what I want you to notice, just sense the difference. You can even feel the difference. And it's like, I am it. I am it. I am her. Do you see? I am that person. I am with my person. I have money. I am it. It's not even, it's even bigger in past being in the present, because present is you're actively doing something that you can move from. So it's not even, it's saying I am and declaring who you are. It's beyond present. It's beyond it. It's bigger than it. It's the root. It's infinite. It's the all. So when you declare I am anything, you are going above the logic, above what you've been taught, that you're like, oh, I got to do something. I'm doing something. I'm taking action. Do you see? All of these things feel like they're present, but really what I am is, what God is above all of it. It's beyond that ing. It is infinite. It's untouched, unbothered. It's unscathed by any conditions, any thoughts, any feelings, any actions you take, past, present, or future. It's above it. It just is. That is way more powerful than you trying to figure out how to get out of waiting and how to get out of chasing. And ask yourself, hold on. I don't wait and I don't chase. I be it. I'm gonna be it. I be it. I am it. Do you see? It's not even a tense, because I am is infinite, and it's not related to time at all. So if you notice, you're like, okay, let me pay attention to these, like, this is waiting. Or if you feel like that desperate, you got to do something like that, want to taking, like, no, that's chasing, because I'm going to be it. And I am going to have an inspired action. But if it's going to be inspired action, I'm going to allow it to happen through me as I be it, instead of trying to chase it. And you guys, I can't tell you if you're chasing, if you're taking action from chasing. I can't tell you if you're taking inspired action, because I'm not you. So if you ask me, I can't tell you if it's inspired action, because I don't know if you're chasing. I don't know if you're in that waiting. Obviously, just answering YouTube comments, I can't tell. But what I can share with you is give you kind of like a general sense. This is not all inclusive, okay? I can give you a general sense of what waiting and chasing looks like versus you be it. All right, my loves, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for liking the video, and thank you for subscribing to The Rosey Life, and thank you for sharing the videos and the channel with others. It helps The Rosey Life grow, and you guys are so appreciated and so loved and so freaking amazing. I will see you soon. Bye.